There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. How you doing, Joe? You feeling good? Fresh from your vacation?
Yeah, I'm doing well. My family just left. We usually have three people in our house, but we for 5 days we had seven people in our house, and so a lot more dishes, a lot more towels, a lot more noise. I forgot how loud three kids can be in comparison to one.
Whew, yeah,
When they
yeah,
get
yeah.
together, it's like
But you're glad it's over now, right?
it was a good time though. I'm very glad my sister and her children and my mom visited. It was a very nice time.
That's a fantastic way of saying you're happy it's over. That was smooth. I like that.
I think 4 nights is a good length for a family visit. I think it worked. I think 4 nights was the right choice.
Is that why you had a hotel for 3 of those nights? Okay.
It's
Nice job by you. I like that.
so
I
hot.
like Huh?
The water in our pool is over 90 degrees. We don't have a chiller. Some people in our community actually have a chiller.
I didn't know
We
you
don't.
buy chillers. I've heard of heating the pool, but I've never heard of a chiller.
We
Wow.
have a pool
Okay.
heater, but yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know how it works, but maybe
Yeah.
we can get a pool company chiller sponsor
Okay. All right. We can
if
work
you're
on
out
that.
there.
If you're out there, let's go, pool chillers. Step it up. They're asking about the dog. Oh, where's the dog, Joe? Yeah, but the dog doesn't behave. So he has to like ask people to come pick it up. That's the problem.
Dog is in the crate. We have a crate trained dog. He likes the crate. Don't worry, plenty of treats. He
Okay.
sometimes goes in the open crate on his own to just chill.
Okay. All right. All right. Good stuff. What do we have here? Professional basketball returning to Kansas City in 72, and Cincinnati Royals relocated there and became the Kansas City
Kings,
Kings. That's it. The
Sacramento.
Sacramento. That's it. That's the one. That's
I
it.
actually knew you were wrong about that, but
I knew I was getting the Clippers and the Royals and all that crap confused. And so, yeah, I knew it was somewhere there. It's a lot of shit to remember sometimes.
it is
Anyway,
interesting that the A's and the Rays might be moving, and yet Major League Baseball is still interested in adding two teams after that. I don't know if we need baseball expansion.
no, I don't think they need to expand. Basketball, I'm cool with. And I feel bad for Seattle as it is because it's kind of like the Browns. They didn't deserve to lose their team. Their fans were great in Seattle. It was just obviously politics that they couldn't fix Key Arena. But I'm glad that expansion is coming for the NBA eventually, and they'll fix that problem like the NFL did with Cleveland. That they fixed that. That was not a that was an uncalled for black eye for the league. The whole Cleveland fiasco, and I think for the NBA, the Seattle thing is also one of those that you need to rectify that, bro. It's just it's not
It's a
it's
little weird when towns lose their teams and then get them back.
right.
I
Yeah.
don't know, like Quebec in hockey. I think they like even built like an unbelievable arena, and they're like, we really want our team back, but
Yeah. 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 But some do
like
deserve it.
Charlotte, right? Didn't Charlotte Hornets, right? They
Yeah,
went.
but they had a shitty owner in George Shin, and then they end up with another shitty owner in Michael Jordan. Basketball has never been able to grow there because you have bad leadership, overall, and that's a basketball state. They live and eat and breathe basketball in that state. It's a shame that they've had poor leadership there, dude. Now, like the other thing, like the Atlanta Flames, then you gave them the Thrashers. That was stupid.
And
That,
they
that
can, and they're considering it again. I don't think it'll happen, but they're like open to it again. We can make this work. Yeah, no.
Nah, you've had two of them already. You can't make it work, bro. Let me ask you something. Talking about not making it work, Joe. Um, did Dalvin Cook and his agent misjudge the market? Because I reported from the get go they met with the Dolphins the second they were released. They got their offer. They were really disappointed with it, and then they went around and they were disappointed with the offers overall. And I think he thought that people were going to be lined up and they were going to give him the money. And maybe he was reading all those headlines of people talking about how the Dolphins were ready to trade for him or give him big money the second he's available or all of that. Did they misjudge the market? Because I kind of get the feeling they did.
I mean, salary cap space is more valuable to an NFL team than a late round draft pick. So, guaranteed money, length of term. It's just not a good time to be a running back at all for anyone. I mean, there are running backs who are even more accomplished than Dalvin Cook, who would have a hard time, getting a big number as a running back. It's just the state of the game. Now, it is interesting because the Dolphins, Mike McDaniel has spoken about wanting to go against the grain while most NFL teams are using the pass to set up the run. McDaniel has always spoken about wanting to have the ability to use the run to set up the pass. So the Dolphins are a team that, with McDaniel, might be willing to invest slightly more than the average NFL team, but it's also just not in Chris Greer's DNA. He's never really believed in investing too much in the position. So
listen,
yeah.
I don't think he drafts A-Chain if the coach doesn't want him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he takes a guy in the third round, to be quite honest. I think he took the guy in the third round because his coach wanted it, and he didn't have much option after that because he didn't have a fourth or a fifth to wait around. So he had to take the pick there. And since I'm sure the Cook stuff that never moved, they were like, okay, we got to move on. And then we added A-Chain. I bet he took the third round pick for A-Chain just because the coach wanted him more than.
Well, remember, he did take Kenyon Drake in the third round, so I think that's kind of like the cut.
Wasn't it fourth?
It was a third round pick. Okay. Kalen Ballage was a fourth round pick.
Okay, all right.
So Kenyon Drake was a third round pick, and that's the only third round pick that Greer has used on a running back. All the others are like the Malcolm Perrys of the world, who wasn't even really a running back. They tried him. They actually moved him to receiver. He was a quarterback, running back in college. But I think that the A-Chain addition certainly plays an impact on how far the Dolphins are willing to go on Cook. Now, the Dolphins also almost selected a running back. It might have been a guy named White from Arizona State in McDaniel's first year. I think he was selected just ahead of the Dolphins in the second or the third round of McDaniel's first year. So he does want to add running back. He does value running back. But listen, the Dolphins are hoping that in a climate in which sports stars are maybe willing to take a little less to come to Miami, to live in Miami, the weather, the culture, the lifestyle. He's from here. They're hoping that maybe they could get a little bit more of a club-friendly deal. This is a luxury item. This is not a necessity. Doesn't mean that they're not going to add Dalvin Cook, but it has to, maybe it has to play out a little bit further. It obviously does.
And by the way, you're not going to spend big money on a guy that's part-time. That's the part that I think some fans still have to kind of get through, when Omar and I would have these guys, oh, he's a $7 million. No, Omar, you're not using him every down. He's going to share time with Mostert. He's going to share time with Wilson. And they didn't draft A-Chain to just sit him down. They get 4 years with A-Chain. And guess what? Most backs aren't going to see second contracts. So,
and listen, Jeff Wilson is a great dude. And I like him as
good football player.
But I'm going somewhere with this. He's a great dude, and he's got that chip on his shoulder, and he believes that he's better than folks think he is. But when the 49ers added Christian McCaffrey, he asked the 49ers to trade him. And common sense says that if the Dolphins acquire Dalvin Cook, Jeff Wilson is going to say, please trade me. So you're deleting Jeff Wilson. And the Dolphins might say, all right, well, what would we get for Jeff Wilson? How much are we paying Jeff Wilson in comparison to what we would have to pay Dalvin Cook? Those things come into consideration. These decisions aren't made in a vacuum.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. And in a way, Mike McDaniel has made already a commitment to those guys. You know what I mean? So it's not an easy situation, or as easy as some people make it out to be. And the key is it is a luxury. Jets look like they are going to do Hard Knocks. How does Aaron Rodgers play on this stage?
This is really interesting. He has an opportunity, Aaron Rodgers does, to improve public perception. So the public perception of Aaron Rodgers is that he's a strange guy. He's an odd guy. He's a weird guy. He's a guy who believes in crazy things relative to, the earth and medications and all sorts of crazy. He's just kind of like out there. And so if I'm Aaron Rodgers, I look at this as an opportunity to be shown as a leader, a good teammate. I'm sure that Aaron Rodgers has a PR team of at least 6 people when it comes to individual publicists and marketers and people who try to cure his brand. And so, but I would say that it's probably unlikely that he won't say or do something that he gets criticized for. I think he will. I think he will. I think because I think that in the end, he doesn't care. He's the guy who thinks he's smarter than everyone else. And I don't think he's the guy who cares that much about what people think, except maybe like deep down at night when he's talking, or when he's talking to his therapist. Maybe he admits it then, Why does the world hate me?
So you're not big on hallucinogens? You weren't on hallucinogens for the last couple of days with 3 kids in the house?
No. So what would be a hallucinogen? Like LSD?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
That's stuff that they took in the 1960s?
Or mushrooms or something, I guess, right?
I've never tried that stuff.
Me neither.
I'm assuming you have. Come on, big guy.
No.
You've never done LSD or mushrooms.
Weed is the farthest I've gone. Drinking. Huh? Yeah, no. I would never do it. I ever since I was young, I heard the word LSD. I had a guy in my classroom. I remember, I'm not gonna say his name, but in 9th and in 10th grade, he would break up rare 714s, or lemons, they were called also, and he would break them up and sniff them in class. And for me, every time I heard the word, LSD or heroin or whatever, that shit scared the shit out of me. Like, I'm not really, I'm not there. There was no interest in any of that.
Do you think that alcohol is a more destructive drug than marijuana?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh God,
it's not even close. Yeah, I mean, I think we're at a point now where NFL players can basically use some marijuana.
Why shouldn't
they? Without even getting suspended, right?
They should. It should be legal. The problem is it's not legal yet in the NFL because it's not legal yet in every state. So until it becomes legal in every NFL becomes recreational in every NFL state, the NFL and the players union can't say, "Hey, guys, smoke up, Johnny." They can't tell you that, because then they would be telling you to do illegal things in certain states. And so it's really out of the NFL's control. Now, is the NFL policing it as hard as they used to? Probably not. The NBA, we know, doesn't police it at all. Hasn't policed it in, God, I don't know how long. But the NBA is way more progressive than the rest of the leagues. But yeah, by now, if you haven't figured out that alcohol is 1,000 times worse than weed, it's hard.
Do you think there's any, this is just random, but do you think there's any chance that marijuana use, for example, could impact a person's decision-making? And what I mean by that, I'm going to jump over to John Morant, for example. I have no idea if John Morant smokes a lot of marijuana, but do you think it's possible that his decisions could be impacted by, marijuana, for example? I don't know.
I think I think when you're stupid, you're just stupid.
Yeah, and I think that's true.
And if you do marijuana, then you might be a little bit more stupid at that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just kind of, you either, brother, you did the gun thing a month and a half ago. You were sitting in front of the commissioner telling him you'll never do it again. And then you do it again. I'm not blaming it on weed. I'm just not, dude. At one point or another, I got to look at the individual and say, yo, you're on your own, bro. You know what I mean? And if you're playing the game under the influence, it could affect your decision making. Sure. But I don't think you should be getting high before you go play football or basketball or baseball or whatever it is you're doing. If it's something like really important. I'm not saying somebody that's working at a record store. maybe you could do your job high at a record store. I don't know, but if it's something like the NFL or basketball where you got to like think really quick, I don't know. Weed doesn't sound like the right one that helps you think quickly. You know what I'm saying?
So I had this wisdom tooth surgery 3 weeks ago. It's finally feeling a little better. Like wisdom teeth can bang you up. But
Yes.
how it relates to football is the young surgeon, and this guy, I mean, he looked like he was like 16 years old, and he did a good job. I mean, I'm not suggesting that a young surgeon can't be a good surgeon.
So you didn't
Would you
give him an
rather,
A.
would you rather
You
have a
didn't,
surgeon?
you
Would
didn't
you
give your
rather?
surgeon an A, did you?
No. I'm tough on my wisdom tooth surgeons. Sometimes I'd rather have a young doctor because I feel like they know all the latest techniques and methods and procedures. But anyway, he gave me Toradol, and I thought, this sounds familiar. So Toradol, so I start to do the research. This is the pain med that was banned by the NFL because players were popping it before the games as a preventative measure for pain and injury. But it turns out that it's really just a very high dose of Advil. And it's non-addictive. It's not a narcotic. So it's just interesting. It kind of ties into the marijuana thing where folks think that marijuana is a better solution for pain management and pain relief than some of these pills.
Yeah, it's not gonna do anything to your liver, bro. All those
Liver,
pills.
right? Liver and kidney.
My God, your livers and your kidneys, all those pills. That's terrible. I stay away from pain pills, dude.
I was taking so much Toradol and Advil and Tylenol that at the 2-week mark, my stomach, I felt like I had a hole in my stomach. And so I had to just stop. I just stopped taking all that pain stuff.
I recently had a procedure that I was in major pain. And that first night I took, they gave me a whole bottle of painkillers, but I took only one of them that night, and I left the rest of the bottle because I try to stay away from that shit as much as possible. I'd rather
the narcotics are very easily addictive.
Yeah, bro. No, I'm not worried about the addiction part because I'm not going to get addicted to it. I'm just worried about my body. Like, I treat it bad enough as it is through drive-throughs. I'm not going to add those serious drugs to it too. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, no, it's all good. I'm going to stay away from that. So
this is going to be possibly the hottest training camp in Dolphins history. When you think about it, every day is the world's hottest day on history.
Yeah.
And so,
and next year will be hotter, and the year after that will be hotter, and it's just kind of where we're going. Unfortunately, it's kind of the same shit that every time you see a flood, like in Vermont or in Buffalo or up there in New York where it happened, and they tell you, oh, this is a 1 in 1,000 storm. You guys are saying that every week. They're saying that in Los Angeles, and they're saying that in Oregon, and they're saying that these floods are happening all the time, and this heat run that we're having, it's just only going to get worse, dude. Come on, it ain't going to get any better.
So the Bills don't come here until January. My question is, do you think it's better for everyone involved that you go ahead and have Bills at Dolphins in January and then Dolphins at Bills in September so we avoid the extreme heat and snow? Or are you a fan of the extreme heat affecting the Bills and the snow affecting the Dolphins? Do you like that weather effect?
I'm selfish. Of course I want it for us, and I don't want it for them. So yeah, in a perfect world, let's have both Buffalo games in September and October. That's kind of the way I would like it perfectly. That way we never go to Buffalo or New York or New England in December. Have them all come here in September and October and suffer in the humidity. Yeah, I would love that.
Josh Allen said he couldn't breathe after one of the games at Hard Rock Stadium. I want to ask –
Last year, they were stuck in wind.
So let me ask you, in all honesty, do you think that the heat is more likely to impact Josh or the cold impact Tua?
Oh, no.
He has to show that he can win a big game in the cold, right?
I'm sorry, you didn't watch it? Buffalo struggled in the heat and the snow. I'll take it. Our Dolphins were thriving up there. I mean, if Tua plays, they win the playoff game. If Mike McDaniel sticks to the running game in the second game, and if Tyreek hangs on to the damn ball, and if Braylon Sanders knows how to run a goddamn route, they win that game. I saw the Finns perform better than the Bills in the heat and in the snow. So I'm thinking we got some special Dolphins here. I'm just saying.
So at Baltimore, December 31st could be a big game. At Baltimore, December
Yeah.
31st.
Oh,
No, and
definitely.
here's the thing. And at
No.
Washington,
Let me tell
December
you
3rd.
why it's a big
Tua
game.
went to Maryland in the offseason last year
Mm-hmm.
in the winter to train with his brother in preparation for a game like this, December 31st at Buffalo. Could be a big game for the playoffs.
Did he really need that down by 14 in Buffalo last year? Yes. It's all good, bro. It's all good. Down by 14, Tua said, look at me. Here we go. Bam, bam, bam. And it's over. He came back and brought him back, baby. He's, Tua's a man of all weather. Just don't hang on to the damn ball, bro. Get rid of it. That's all I'm asking.
Did you know that Tua Tagovailoa led the National Football League in passer rating on third downs and passer rating in the red zone and pocket passing between the hashes? So those are all amazing between the hashes, right? So
what do I call?
We do have to admit
what do I call Tua?
He's better between the hashes.
What do I call Tua?
What? Something about being a robot or an assassin?
No, he's a left-handed Joe Montana. He's a money player, bro. It's a money player. You'll see. He just has to be smart and stay on the damn field. The beauty is by now, Joe, nobody can be talking about ability with Tua. There's no more. He's short. His arm's not strong enough. He can't run a powerful offense. This, that, whatever. He can make all the throws you need in the NFL. He can win for you. He has to stay on the field.
Do you like the adding the weight? So that we clearly added weight. Clearly,
love it.
So we think that the bigger guy is maybe going to be a little more durable.
Well, think about it. If you're more sturdy here and here, will your neck be able to be more controlled? Of course.
Yeah, but it's not just neck muscles.
But hold on a second. I'm not also then you build up your body. So now you can take a little bit more punishment. Yeah. Russell Wilson never suffers injuries because, he suffers some injuries, but he stays on the field because he's very durable. He's in incredible shape. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where I give Tua a lot of credit that he sees what's wrong and then he attacks it and he gets better at it from trying to, technique with judo and learning how to fall to then building your body up. That's all he can do at this point. Outside of that, the next thing is get rid of the ball, kid. Don't hang on to it for 4 or 5 seconds, and you'll be all right.
And we hope that new NFL concussion helmet helps. We hope that helps. I like that he led the NFL. I like that he led the NFL in passer rating, and yet there's still national skepticism. I like that fuel, that motivation. Same thing about the Dolphins. I mean, they made the playoffs, but it's kind of like, they weren't really that good. So I like Mike Daniel can use all of this, and so can Tua.
Oh, and he takes receipts, and he listens to all of it. So that's what motivates him. Also, he's just like a lot of the great players that use little things to motivate them. They'll tell you they don't, but deep down inside, they want to hear that they can't do that. They want to hear that they're not good enough. They love hearing that, and they love proving people wrong. And I think Tua behind the scenes loves proving people wrong. He doesn't sometimes he'll rub it in. Sometimes he'll rub it in with, in certain press conferences and things like that. Like that one time where he says, I was on the money or whatever, when he came out on the podium and all that. So he'll do it every once in a while, but there's no doubt he pays attention
Before we go, I want
to
to show you
one thing.
So I'm on the microphone, but I want to go get.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. No problem. All right, Joe Schad. Remember, you can follow him on Twitter at Schad Joe, and more importantly, subscribe to the Palm Beach Post and support my man. Joe Schad. He wants to add a jacuzzi now that he added the pool. So support my man Joe Schad so he can add a jacuzzi. Plus, we want to get a chiller for the pool too now. So for you pool people out there, if you want to partially sponsor a Joe Schad segment and do a pool chiller, now you got to be a good installer of pool chillers because he's got to be, he's a hard grader, so you got to be really good so you can give him an A. Okay.
So This is my daughter's favorite mug, and I like it. I like it as well. So this is the Salty Tua coffee mug, and I use this. And sometimes I think about how much I like Salty Tua.
Yeah.
It's available
Yeah.
on the internet somewhere.
Yeah. Every once in a while, you'll get Salty Tua, and Salty Tua is good. It's good because he's so cool about everything else, and he handles all the adversity the right way, and he always says the right things. And he knows that he's also giving you the company line. That's the best part about Tua. He even admits that he'll give you the company line. He did it last year in a press conference, which I loved. But every once in a while, you want him to go off that normal path of his and kind of, get a little salty.
I mean, I'll admit that it's not easy to be a quarterback in the NFL when it comes to the balance between, wow, he's so transparent and genuine and honest,
Yeah.
versus, oh, he's too honest. He shouldn't have revealed that. Like when the thing about the playbook. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, here's the funny part about it is, then Tyreek Hill tells you, I didn't know the playbook either. And then nobody says anything.
Well, it's always different. The quarterback is always different.
And Tua is also a lightning rod. But here's the thing, Joe. If you've covered the league long enough, and you have, bro, go talk to rookies. Most of them will tell you they don't know the playbook inside out.
Eric Izukama now knows the playbook.
Right.
And in the near future, before I go, I just want to tell you, I'm going to be posting something in the near future about the top position battles to watch at training camp. And the number 3 receiver is very interesting to me. Is it Robbie Chosen? Yeah.
I think you should do a story. Go talk to Teron Armstead. Go talk to all the veterans that are established, and get honesty out of them on how lost you were the first year, on how lost you were remembering what you fundamentally had to remember on how to run a route or set up a block or throw a pass, because they taught you how to do it fundamentally, but then you also have to read and react to what everything else is going on. So you've got to then position yourself right, set the person up right, whatever it is, and then make the right play and make the right decision in a split moment. And I bet you'd get some funny ass stories from some of the guys, because most guys, if they're honest, they'll tell you about the nightmarish first or second year of them in the league, on how they were lost with terminology or figuring things out and what to do, and how they would constantly have to ask one of their teammates, what am I supposed to do here? People, I don't think, realize how common that is.
Well, Tua should be better than ever. I mean, let's be honest.
I'm not worried.
I'm saying it's his 4th year in the league. It's his 2nd year in the system. He has the best receiver in the NFL. He has one of the top 5 additional wide receivers in the NFL. He has a coach and quarterback coach who all believe in him, support him publicly. I mean, this is like the ideal situation. So he should absolutely be.
But I'm talking about Izukama last year. I'm talking about Channing Tindall last year. There's a reason why those kids shined in the preseason. They didn't have to think. But you get the regular season, now you got to think, dude. And now you fall behind. And even Tyreek said it last year when he came into the playbook. He didn't know it all. He didn't know exactly what route he was supposed to run all the time. And I think we were just, like always, typical of Tua. Everything with Tua is blown out of just absolute proportions that it's just ridiculous.
Well, it does make it interesting. So that's good. I think interesting is much better than boring. And this Dolphins team will not be boring.
No.
And that is very good for me and you and those around us.
No doubt. Follow him on Twitter at Schad Joe. Please subscribe to the Palm Beach Post like I and many others do, and support him and all the terrific writers there. Joe, as always, thank you, my friend. We will catch up next week. Enjoy your weekend.
See you, bud.
Thank you, sir. There you go. The great Joe Schad. There we go. And by the way, when we talk about essential moving experts, let me just make sure you know that Sean Williams and the boys are awesome. They do everything: long moving services, short moving services, home moving services, office relocation, all of that, folks. Please call my guy, Sean Williams. Great people, great passion. They work the entire country, so it doesn't matter where you're listening to me. If you want to move within the state, within a county, across the county, across the state, across the country, they can do it all for you, man. So please call them. They will take care of you. 386-213-4054. That's 386-213-4054 for essentialmovingexperts.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.